On a rainy night, a man sits in the car in front of a house while taking his pills and staring at his wedding ring. Having a matchstick in his hand already symbolizes an upcoming alarming situation, but not for himself. The man emerges from his car with a hammer and starts breaking the house door. When the people of the house come out, he starts swearing at them and brutally killing them with the same hammer. After slashing those people, he spreads petrol around the place before burning it down and driving away. No matter what caused it, this guy is a psycho, violent, and dangerous man. Rachel wakes up on her couch when her friend cum divorce lawyer, Andy, calls her to tell her that her soon-to-be ex, Richard, filed to get the house after the divorce. Andy tells her he will object to it while Rachel realizes she missed her alarm. Her son Kyle comes down, seeing she isn't dressed yet, and has to remind her that she has a client today, which she had forgotten. Rachel's brother Fred and his girlfriend Mary are living with her because they need to sell their mother's place and pay for her medicals with that. She also wants Fred to start working realistically, but he is into starting his own business. As Rachel is driving him to school, she takes the freeway against Kyle's suggestion to reach on time. Richard calls, ruining the mood by canceling his plans with Kyle, and things aren't getting better when they get stuck in traffic on the freeway too. Since she's been late multiple times, her best client Deborah fires her, but she can't blame it on the traffic since she overslept too. Rachel listens to Kyle's suggestion of using the surface streets and exits the freeway. But when they stop at a signal, the car in front of them just doesn't move, even though it has been a while since the signal got green. Rachel keeps honking the person violently, but when she sees the light turn yellow, she moves to the next lane and passes by. However, they get stopped at the next signal as well. The truck person also comes by and parks at the side, signaling Kyle to roll down his window. Kyle does that even though Rachel tells him not to. Either way, things are going to go the wrong way now because the man in the truck is the psycho murderer who burned his ex's house after killing her last night. The person asks Rachel why she didn't give a courtesy tap first, but started honking violently. Rachel tells him that he should have moved since the signal was green. He responds that he is going through a rough patch lately, but Rachel is quick to counter that he isn't the only one. Since Rachel just doesn't want to let go of the argument and doesn't apologize to the person after he does, the person tells her she doesn't know what a bad day means, but she is going to find out today. After that, the person starts following them and cutting their lane. He also turns his car and stops in the middle, but Rachel waits till he goes before turning the street and dropping Kyle to school. She tells Andy that they can meet for breakfast and then goes to get some fuel in her car. As she is in the shop at the gas station, she sees the person right behind her car outside. She tells the shopkeeper lady and the nice stranger that she is being road raged, so the guy tells her he'll help her get away after noting the person's number plate, and they can call the cops on him after she gets away. It is all good till the helping Rachel getaway part, but when the person signals this psycho to calm down and how he got his number plate notes, the psycho drives into the person and starts following Rachel. Weirdly, no one in the heavy traffic notices him constantly bumping into her car and following her violently. Rachel keeps looking for her phone while driving but cannot find it. The person comes parallel to her and shows her that he got her phone before driving away. At the restaurant, Andy is calling Rachel when the psycho comes up to him, introducing himself as Tom Cooper and saying he is Rachel's friend. Quite weird that he knew about this schedule, but it is clear that Tom is hell-bent destroying Rachel's life just because she didn't apologize for reacting to his mistake. It seems like Tom scrolled through her entire life on her phone. A major reason to keep your phones locked with passwords these days. He mentions to Andy that Rachel was stressed, but also shows how he thinks Richard did his best just because he wasn't cheating, even though he kept changing jobs. He jokingly bets with Andy that he can get Rachel on the phone, so Andy hands his phone. Tom calls a number which Rachel hears the ring of in her car while looking for something. She picks up the phone, recognizing Andy's number, but it takes her a while to realize that the person in front of Andy claiming to be her friend is the road rage guy. However, Tom takes the phone right on time and tells Rachel all he wanted was a sincere apology, but now she will know what a truly bad day is. Andy tries to take his phone back, but Tom slams the mug in his face. As Andy bleeds, Rachel is on speaker hearing Tom's rant about hating divorce lawyers because apparently no matter how pathetic husbands like Tom are, it is the divorce lawyer's fault that they get separated. Tom simultaneously keeps hitting Andy till he gives a final stab of a fork in Andy's neck, killing him. Rachel cannot believe he did that and apologizes to him again, but Tom tells her it sounds like she is swearing at him. Weird how this person killed his wife the previous night and has been driving his car without trying to hide, yet the cops haven't gotten to him yet, especially after he killed 2 more people today. The person calls Rachel again and tells her he is going to play Russian roulette with her contact list now. She will be picking who he is going to kill next, and she cannot choose herself because he wants her to suffer mentally with all this. He also gets to know where Kyle studies, but he plans on not touching him yet. Being way too pressured, she picks her ex-client Deborah. After the call ends, Rachel breathes heavily but manages to call the police for Deborah. Fred is seeing the restaurant incident on TV when he calls Mary. Hearing no response, he gets up and sees the truck in front of the house, alarming him. Taking a knife, he goes where Mary is, only to find the door leading outside from the room broken. Fred nears the door, but Tom comes up from behind while holding Mary, whose head he had already hurt multiple times. He starts ranting about how Rachel dismissed him as a useless being, which isn't entirely wrong, because that's what has happened to him his entire life. Now he is contributing to the society with violence. Fred tells him to let Mary go, but Tom holds Mary and pushes her multiple times into Fred, making her get stabbed with the knife he was holding and die while claiming that this is all Rachel's doing. Rachel reaches the school, but when she looks at the phone, she is shocked to see a picture of Tom and Fred. Calling him, she tells him why he did that, but of course, because Tom wanted to hit deeper. Seeing her location, he gives her 3 minutes to bring Kyle to the car and call her, or he kills Fred. Rachel rushes inside the school, but they are on a protocol due to what Tom did in the restaurant. She explains the situation to them, thankfully the picture making it easier for her, and brings Kyle to the car. Kyle is still confused till Tom tells Rachel to put the phone on speaker and tells Kyle who he is and how Fred is going to read a letter to Rachel. Poor Fred is forced to look at his fiance's body and blame Rachel for Mary's death, calling her stuck up and ending the letter with him going to die too. Rachel starts screaming for Tom to not do that while a cop shows up too. Unfortunately, Tom puts Fred on fire and runs away, leaving the cop to prioritize Fred first. Poor Rachel has to stop the car and puke her guts away with all that has been happening. Tom calls her again, telling Fred is dead and got shot in the shoulder, so now it's Kyle's turn. Pent up with what has happened so far and how Kyle's life is online this time, she swears at him and breaks the phone. While they drive to the station, Kyle wonders if he is tracking him with the location of their tablet or the small phone. Hearing this doubt, Rachel tells him to look for it again, even though she didn't find it before. Looking under the seats, Kyle finds it taped under the driving seat. Using the Find My Phone app, they find Tom is right next to them. This is confusing as they don't see the truck, but right in front of them is their neighbor Rosie's minivan. However, there is also a cop car ahead of him, so they slowly slide past the minivan and reach the cop car. While they catch the cop's attention, Tom manages to get the car to swivel, making it come under a truck and cause road blockage with the accident. With no option left, Rachel decides they can go to her mother's house because Kyle can hide there and the streets are like a maze, so they can lose Tom for time enough for Kyle to hide. With Tom's shoulder injury, it gets easier for them to execute this plan, even though he causes multiple accidents on the way. Rachel knows the streets well and keeps sharply turning different corners till they finally lose Tom and get to the house. She sends Kyle to hide as there is a small secret passage to the attic. Meanwhile, she grabs a pair of scissors and a sharp metallic stick and goes to the garage. When Tom finds the car, he stops there, but another car comes and hits his car, flipping it. Rachel used the car in the garage, but the man is so bulky that he still manages to hurt Rachel more despite his injuries. Going into the house, he looks for Kyle and the panic makes Kyle drop something behind him, catching Tom's attention. Rachel is also not giving up on her son's life and manages to drag herself through and get to Kyle before. However, it still isn't soon enough because Tom drags her out, hurts her pretty bad by throwing her here and there, and then attacks Kyle. Rachel keeps getting up and trying to save Kyle, but Tom punches her in the face. Taking a cord, Tom is choking Kyle when Rachel comes from behind and stabs Tom in the eye. That pathetic guy still tries to get up, making Rachel give her the courtesy tap it all started from by kicking the scissor deeper into his eye and killing him. The unhelpful cops finally arrive after multiple murders and injuries, and Rachel helping herself. The only good thing is that she won't be charged, and her brother Fred is still alive. However, Rachel will forever live with the trauma of honking on any car.